We're still waiting for the next January 6th hearing to begin. Today's focus, as we've been talking about, is, of course, on former President Donald Trump and the post-election pressure campaign to enlist the Justice Department in his failed bid to overturn his 2020 loss. Let's talk about this some more as we wait for the hearing to begin. ABC White House correspondent Mary Alice Parks joining us once again, plus our contributors, former Republican Congresswoman from Virginia, Barbara Comstock, also Chief Executive Officer for Code for America, Amanda Renteria, as well as former Assistant U.S. Attorney of the Southern District of New York, Khan Nawade. All right, Mary Alice, let's start with you. We are set to hear testimony, as we've been mentioning, from these three former top officials, DOJ, all who say that they pushed back against Trump and his allies and all those repeated requests to overturn this election. What are you going to be looking for first and foremost right out of the gate?
Yeah, Kara, the committee's been trying to show all the different ways that the former president tried to use his position and his power to stay in office even after he lost the election. We heard them talk about the pressure he put on his vice president, the pressure that him and his team put on state officials. And now we're going to hear these former officials from the Department of Justice talk about the pressure that they felt they were under to look into some of these conspiracy theories. The work that they did to actually do that, to look into some of these claims, these allegations of fraud, the findings that they came up with, where they just didn't have any evidence that there was a problem with the election. And then we're going to hear these stories of how some of them were told that the president was considering firing the acting attorney general and replacing him with someone that he liked, and that they all threatened to resign because of that. And I am looking to see and hear any evidence that the former president was sort of actively sort of pursuing that line of thinking, that he was, how close did he come to really firing his attorney general? Had he put any of that in motion, and how quickly did they all respond to that?
Well, all right. Yeah, I was just, are you going to point out Sean Penn?
Yeah, you can. There he is.
We were just, as you're talking, Mary Alice, and I was trying to quickly check here from notes to see Sean, the cameras are all over Sean Penn right now in the hearing room. Do we have any idea why he's there?
I can't tell you that I do care, but we are going to ask.
All right, and there he is with former Capitol Police Officer Michael Fanone, who was dragged out into the crowd and nearly killed.
Well, he could be working on a movie.
He could be. I'd like to go to Amanda on a question about these hearings in general. There's a lot of Americans feel they already know this story. They saw it unfold. Is there something new that people are learning? Is this, do you think, enhancing voters' understanding of what's at stake in the next election?
Those that are tuning in, yes. I mean, the reality is this is setting the stage for how do we define public servants, whether you are working in the White House, whether you're working in state secretaries of offices, or whether you're working in the Justice Department, because what you are seeing is people come up time and time again and define what their role is in defending the Constitution, in making sure that we have a democracy in this country. And so it is important for people to be hearing that on the front lines from the kind of different voices that can bring facts to life, not only about the job itself, but really their commitment and what they're willing to do in terms of putting their families at risk, et cetera, what it takes to really uphold democracy. And I believe that's not only touching the rules and laws of this country, but the hearts and minds of people who are tuning in. And that is equally important to this story for a matter of history, and as public servants look at their future and look at these institutions and believe in them going forward.
All right, so looking at a little background here, Sean Penn has been very vocal, very outspoken about the insurrection. Apparently, his line when responding to the U.S. Capitol violence, "Hell hath no fury like a narcissist scorned." So Sean Penn has been very vocal and very outspoken about what happened on January 6th. We're seeing the witnesses walk into the hearing room right now. And Barbara, as we just learned, tell me where we want to go. Are we going to continue this discussion or go live into? Okay. The three, were you able to get eyes on? Did all former DOJ officials walk in? Did you? I saw Rosen.
They are there.
Okay.
And now they're getting their pictures taken.
Okay.
So, Barbara, talk about public service and what all these witnesses, all of them with the exception of the election worker from Atlanta, have been Republicans, conservative Republicans.
Yes, these are all witnesses who worked for Donald Trump, many of them up into the last days. And so that is why I think their testimony is so powerful, and why I think if there is to be criminal action, you can basically bring an indictment, an entire case against Donald Trump using his own words and his public statements, and using his own people who worked on his campaign, at his White House, his Justice Department, where again and again he asked people to do illegal things.
And they said no. They said no.
Exactly.
That's who we're hearing from, the people who said no. And that's really the story in these hearings. These are Republicans who worked for Donald Trump, supported Donald Trump, did not support the Democrats, and who, when asked to do something that in their consciences and under their oaths they believed was wrong, they said no. That's who was telling the story.
But Rusty Bowers also said no, right? And one of the most compelling... Okay, the committee investigating the United States attack on the Hill is now set to deliver opening statements. We're going to take you there live.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.